Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mike. You guys are rocking with me on Mike's Intellectual Corner. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a history reaction on History Matters. What happened when Kamikaze pilots failed or wiped out? With that being said, we're just going to get right into it. Let's roll.
You had one job. Most people have heard of kamikaze pilots, young men who were tasked with crashing their planes into enemy warships. These pilots could, ideally, accurately target important parts of ships and do more damage than a traditional bombing run. Also, it was believed that the display of a kamikaze pilot willingly sacrificing themselves for Japan would demoralize the enemy. Now, the effects of kamikaze...
Now, see, I feel like, although that was the main, goal for it, I feel like since the success rate for it was so low, that it kind of came out more as an annoyance, almost, or maybe more as a, you can kill yourself if you want to type of thing. But, I don't know,
Now, the effects of kamikaze attacks are well debated, but something not spoken about is what happened when they failed. What was to become of a kamikaze pilot that either missed or wimped out? So, some background. As of 1944, things weren't exactly going great for Japan, and the only hope of preventing America from defeating them was to destroy or at least cripple their capital ships, most importantly, their aircraft carriers. Simply attacking the ships with conventional means was too costly for Japan. As such, taking young pilots, sticking them into planes loaded with explosives, and then ordering them to fly into critical parts of enemy ships was deemed to be
See, and I didn't even know that it was because of resources, because I was thinking, like, wouldn't it make less or more sense not to get rid of a vital plane with a really good pilot, but again, bombs are resources, so either way they have to expend something. I guess this was a better way, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Enemy ships was deemed to be a better strategy. The men chosen for this weren't just some random chaps, but were some of the most gifted pilots in Japan. The training was harsh, but the rations were much better, and culturally, kamikaze pilots were revered. Pilots were expected to reflect on death in their time off to prepare them for their upcoming mission. Yet for some, this preparation and love for Japan wasn't enough to get them to introduce their face to the deck of an American warship. So what happened to failed kamikaze pilots?
Yeah, because I mean, like, at the end of the day, we're all human, and I understand that the Japanese during World War II were like really big fanatics for their emperor and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and that's asking a lot from somebody. But I think it's the same. I guess it goes for the same for suicide bombers in today's society, I guess you can say.
Happened to failed kamikaze pilots? Well, many were shot down before they even completed their mission or could get there. Some hit the wrong part of the ship or missed completely and fell into the ocean where, providing they survived, they'd be captured and taken to a prisoner of war camp. And before continuing, there's a common misconception that kamikaze pilots were only given half a tank of fuel to ensure they could...
Yeah, and I think also their success rate was only like 14%, and of those, only 8.5% the boats actually, or ships actually sank from it. So it was effective, but not really, you know what I'm saying?
Half a tank of fuel to ensure they couldn't come back, which isn't true. Also, there were legitimate reasons for a pilot to turn around, and losing a well-trained kamikaze to a malfunction would be a waste. And the entire reason why Japan turned to this strategy in the first place was because their resources, including pilots, were limited. So pilots that turned around because of technical issues or bad weather would face no consequences.
Yeah, but watch, there's like that one that's coming back like freaking 10th, 11th time, like, oh, sorry guys, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. I'll get him next time though. Next time, guys.
Bad weather would face no consequences because it wasn't their fault. Better luck next time, and there was going to be a next time. Those that returned due to less easy to confirm reasons like enemy resistance or the inability to find their target would be chastised. And the number of these cases was alleviated by undertaking kamikaze attacks in groups and also getting the pilots drunk so they wouldn't think too much about the whole dying thing. However, when only one survivor returned, it looked quite suspicious. But remember, kamikaze pilots were valuable resources, and so Japan wanted to utilize every single one of them. Thus, no punishment, back out you go. Now, there was a limit to how often someone could return. For example, there was one pilot that returned 9 times before he was executed for cowardice. For most pilots, though, returning from a suicide mission was, to an extent, expected, and in many cases...
Yeah, see, but for that one dude, I'd probably just been like, hey, look, on this one, you can go out there, or you can come back and get a bullet, you know what I'm saying, to the face. Either way, you're gonna die, so you might as well just die for your country and die the right way or something. I know that's really messed up to say, but I mean, at least if you go out try and do a kamikaze, there's a chance you could survive. You know what I'm saying? You might be a prisoner of war, but being a prisoner of war with America isn't the worst thing. You know what I'm saying? You're going to get released, so.
Expected, and in many cases not something that would get you imprisoned or shot. Like all resources during the Second World War, Japan had to conserve and make the best use of its kamikaze pilots if it were to compete with the industrial might of the United States. And given that a single kamikaze pilot could put an aircraft carrier out of commission for months, they were seen as something not to be wasted. Hence why returning kamikaze pilots weren't often punished.
Alright guys, we'll go ahead and end it right there. So yeah, that's what happened with kamikaze attacks. Apparently they're pretty revered, and which that's the story for most units and militaries that have that type of a duty. They're usually revered as in history terms anyway. They're usually revered as essentially almost a Top Gun, and they always get the best of the best and all that stuff. So it makes sense. Anyway, with that being said, guys, thank you again for joining me on another history reaction on another Micah's Intellectual Corner. I'll see you guys when I see you. I'm out. Peace.